In April 2011, the Saab factory in Trollhättan, Sweden, fell silent. The production line ceased its motion, the workforce departed, and 60 years of automotive innovation concluded with an unfinished car abandoned on the factory floor. If you've never had the experience of owning a Saab, you might not grasp the weight of this moment. But if you have, you understand completely. You understand the ignition placed unconventionally between the seats, the immersive, wraparound cockpit, and the unique thrill that only a turbocharged Saab could deliver. You recognize that the car's oddities weren't mistakes, they were intentional features. And you feel the magnitude of what was lost when Saab ceased to be. This is more than a tale of financial failure. It's a story about the stifling of innovation by corporate groupthink. It's about a company that dared to build cars that were anything but normal and the ultimate cost of that defiance. This is the story of Saab's downfall. The golden years. Saab's origins lie in aviation. The name itself, Svenska Aeroplan Aktiebolaget, translates to Swedish Airplane Company. They were builders of fighter jets for World War II. When the war concluded, the company faced a new question: what's next? Their answer was to build cars, and they approached it with the precision and ingenuity of aircraft engineers. The very first Saab, the Model 92, was a marvel of aerodynamics, shaped like a smooth, melted bar of soap after extensive wind tunnel testing. It featured front-wheel drive, at a time when it was still an anomaly. It was meticulously engineered to conquer the harsh Swedish winters and unforgiving roads, and it succeeded. However, it was the 1977 Saab 99 Turbo that truly revealed the brand's core philosophy to the world. As one of the first mass-market turbocharged vehicles, it revolutionized the concept of power. It demonstrated that a large engine wasn't necessary for performance, a smart, well-engineered one was. The 99 Turbo showed that a compact four-cylinder engine could perform far beyond its size. Following this came the iconic Saab 900. The classic 900, manufactured between 1978 and 1993, is the vehicle that cemented Saab's status as a cult brand. The 900 Turbo, in particular, was the definitive model. It boasted the signature wraparound windshield, creating a cockpit-like experience reminiscent of a fighter jet. The ignition key was located between the front seats, a quintessential Saab trait. Knowing this was a mark of being in the club. It had self-cleaning headlights and a cleverly hidden dashboard cup holder. Quirks were part of its identity. The interior was unlike any other car on the market. The dashboard curved around the driver, placing every control in a logical, intuitive position, even if it was unconventional. These were not just design choices, they were engineered solutions crafted by people who deeply considered the driver's experience. The seats, developed in collaboration with orthopedic surgeons, were legendary for their long-distance comfort. While the 900 Turbo wasn't the fastest car of its day, its power delivery was uniquely addictive. There was a distinct pause after pressing the throttle, followed by a surge of boost. Mastering this turbo lag was part of the driving experience, and the car rewarded a skilled driver. None of it was conventional, all of it was Saab. The 900 Turbo was a blend of speed, safety, practicality, and eccentricity that made its driver feel discerning. It wasn't trying to imitate BMW or Mercedes, it was proudly being a Saab. Saab owners were a distinct group: engineers, architects, professors, individuals who valued thoughtful design over conformity. They formed a devoted community, exchanging waves on the road and offering help with repairs. They passionately defended their choice to anyone who asked, why not just get a Volvo? The answer was simple: it wasn't a Volvo. If you understood, you understood.
The Saab 9000, launched in 1984, was the brand's entry into the executive sedan market. Developed on the Type 4 platform in partnership with Fiat, Lancia, and Alfa Romeo, the 9000 Aero, with its potent 2.3-liter turbocharged engine, was fast, comfortable, and sophisticated. It was proof that Saab could work with a shared platform and still create something unmistakably its own. By the late 1980s, Saab was at its zenith: innovative, desirable, and with a promising future. Then, General Motors entered the picture. The GM era. In 1989, General Motors acquired a 50% stake in Saab, gaining full ownership by 2000. Initially, the partnership seemed promising. GM offered financial backing and global resources, while Saab brought its engineering prowess and loyal following. GM pledged to preserve Saab's autonomy and Swedish character, and at the time, they were sincere. But corporate realities soon overshadowed good intentions. The first indication of trouble was the next generation 900. Released after the classic's production ended in 1993, the new 900 was built on an Opel Vectra platform. While it wore Saab badges and had some distinct styling, fans of the brand immediately felt the difference. The ignition remained between the seats, but the soul of the car felt diluted, more generic. The wraparound dashboard was gone, replaced by an interior that could have been sourced from any GM vehicle. The steering felt numb, and the interior materials began to show their mass-market origins within a few years. Online forums echoed a common sentiment: it doesn't feel like a Saab anymore. Then came the ultimate betrayals, the 92X and the 97X. The 92X, introduced in 2005, was merely a Subaru Impreza wagon with a Saab grille. Enthusiasts dubbed it the Saabaru. Ironically, critics found it to be a competent car, but it lacked any of Saab's design DNA or engineering spirit. It was a well-made Japanese car suffering from an identity crisis, and loyalists were not deceived. The 97X was even more egregious. It was a rebadged Chevrolet Trailblazer, a truck-based SUV. The legacy of a Swedish aircraft company was reduced to selling a reskinned American truck. Despite a Saab grille and minor interior changes, it was a Trailblazer through and through. These were not cars engineered by Saab. They were GM products branded as Saabs to fill showroom floors. The message to the faithful was stark: this brand no longer matters. Despite this, the 93, the evolution of the 900, and the 95, which replaced the 9000, sold in reasonable numbers. They were safe, practical, and retained a hint of Saab's character, but they were products of compromise. Sharing platforms with Opel and Chevrolet meant sacrificing the unique quirks that defined Saab. The wraparound windshield shrank, the materials felt cheaper, and the driving dynamics became vague. Saab was slowly being homogenized to align with GM's global strategy, and the fans took note. Sales began to decline. Those who cherished Saab for its distinctiveness saw it becoming commonplace. Meanwhile, those seeking a conventional luxury car saw no reason to choose Saab over established German rivals. Saab was caught in a no-man's land, not peculiar enough for its cult followers and not prestigious enough for the mainstream market. From GM's standpoint, this was purely business. Saab's peak production was about 130,000 cars a year, a negligible figure in GM's vast portfolio. Saab was costly, difficult to integrate, and unprofitable. By the mid-2000s, it was an orphan within the corporation. Budgets were cut, development was stalled, and the brand's identity faded. The cars were still decent, but they had lost their way. Then, the 2008 financial crisis struck. The collapse. The crisis pushed GM to the brink of bankruptcy. During its restructuring, GM decided it could no longer sustain Saab. In 2009, the announcement came: Saab would be shut down. A wave of support rose from the Swedish government, Saab employees, and the loyal customer base. For a moment, a glimmer of hope appeared when Koenigsegg, the Swedish hypercar maker, expressed interest in buying Saab. It was an enthusiast's dream, a return to Swedish innovation. But the deal collapsed due to a lack of financing. GM withdrew, and Saab was left in purgatory. Then came Spyker, a boutique Dutch sports car manufacturer. In early 2010, Spyker purchased Saab for $400 million, vowing to resurrect the brand. For a brief period, it seemed possible. The second-generation 9-5, launched in 2010, was a genuinely great car. It had sophisticated styling, powerful engines, and a modern Scandinavian interior. It looked, drove, and felt like the Saab the world had been waiting for. But it was too little, too late. Spyker was critically underfunded. Saab was hemorrhaging money as it struggled to increase production. Suppliers, fearing insolvency, began demanding upfront payments. In April 2011, the funds dried up and production halted. Workers were sent home, not knowing if they would ever return. For the town of Trollhättan, this was more than just a loss of jobs. It was a loss of identity. Unfinished cars remained on the assembly line like ghosts. The next generation 9-3, meant to save the company, existed only as a prototype. Despite attempts to find a buyer, it was over. In December 2011, Saab officially declared bankruptcy. Only about 11,000 second-generation 9-5s were ever made. The brand that began building cars in 1949 was gone. Subsequent revival attempts by other companies failed, and the reality set in. Saab was not coming back. Legacy. Saab embodied a principle now nearly absent in the auto industry. A brand that dared to think differently. They built cars for thinkers, prioritizing safety, utility, and ingenious design over status. Their vehicles were the product of engineers, not marketers. Every feature had a purpose, a logic born from their aviation roots. Innovations like mainstream turbocharging, heated seats, and headlamp washers were not gimmicks. They were practical solutions born from the challenges of Swedish winters. But the legacy of Saab extends beyond the machines to the community that embraced them. They were loyalists who understood the car's philosophy. That loyalty fostered a culture that endures today in clubs and online forums, where owners keep the spirit alive through shared passion and dedication. Could Saab have been saved? Perhaps. Had GM allowed Saab to retain its unique, niche identity instead of forcing it into a corporate mold, the outcome might have been different. The dilution of its core character ultimately led to its demise. The lesson is clear. Badge engineering and careless platform sharing can destroy a brand's soul. Saab made its share of mistakes. It was too small, too quirky, too niche. But it stood for the belief that a car could be engineered for people, not just for markets. Its designs were honest, its engineering inspired. Saab wasn't just a car company, it was an idea. Though the factory is closed, that idea persists. Ask anyone who owned one. They'll recount the quirks, the repairs, and the profound sense of driving something built with genuine care. They'll tell you with pride that Saab wasn't just a car they drove, it was a car that understood them. Saab didn't fail because people stopped loving it. It failed because it existed in a system that had no room for something so defiantly individual. That is the true tragedy, not just for a car brand, but for creativity in a world that demands conformity. If you have a Saab story, share it. The cult is still here, and it's still listening. Thanks for watching.